Alright, my friends, a new series begins.
Mommy, for trusting you once, trusting you twice.
Trusting you once, trusting you twice. We had nothing but time. But things change overnight. Real breakups are instant. You prepare for you're kind of pulling the rope, and eventually the rope just breaks. Eventually you use something and it just breaks in half. Right? That's what breakup is. It actually breaks. My breakup is playing a Hearthstone. A little bit too much. Alright? Lots of time sunk into this thing because there's so much things you can try. I featured this video in YouTube Rewind. It's that one. You do in fact have a chain, and the chain gets more and more tension, basically. In Mr. Beast video, changes gets shorter, right? But in a real breakup situation, you can break the chain easily. Like, it's not a big deal. It's not, don't release the chain by asking Mr. Beast. You just break it, right? Because the tension is too great, and that's a natural breakup, right? The interests are so different that you cannot be committed anymore to the relationship. Breakup, guys. Not only that, it's a real break in two different meanings. You take a break from something after you break something, which happens to be called a breakup, right? So many breaks, guys. No, we're probably not going to talk about relationships that many times, but who knows what's going to happen? It's a new series. LILAC, the series about healing. Trying to heal in weird circumstances. Trying to heal from addictions, or try to understand them, right? Trying to understand where the damage is coming from and just kind of shield yourself. Right now, my shield is noise-canceling headphones. I mean, I had to cave in and buy one of these. I tend to actually allow damage in so I can understand it better, right? But at some point, I am losing the war, all right? I'm losing the fucking plot. I'm not sure if it's gonna help, but it definitely fucking silences me, so it must be true, right? This must be true. That the headphones are already working, right? And on top of that, if everything fails, I can add on earplugs, all right? I can completely kill my ears with this shit. I lived many years to prove I don't need ears to travel anywhere else besides into the headphones. Just scan the headphones. Don't worry about the outside world. It has nothing to fucking offer, basically. I'm done fucking doing the charity work, basically. Of, hurting myself. Now, I will still have to sleep, and I can't sleep with headphones. That's a puzzle, isn't it? Right? But the funny thing is, it's actually gonna force me, just like with the chain thing, it will chain me next to the PC. If there's noise, the only way I can cancel it is by standing up next to my PC. It seems like one of those upgrades that I'll talk about over and over again. One of these, mind you, right? The image that I showed you like 10 times in max stats, if not more. Max stats is relatively over. We're not going to talk about max stats anymore. I'm going to focus now on healing. We're shifting focus. We're starting a new series. And the premise is that healing is also really powerful, right? It's a deep topic. It touches many, many things. It's not as vague as self-improvement, but it's still vague enough to have lots of things to talk about. And God knows where are we going to go with this. For now, let's talk about breakups. Let's talk about Hearthstone. The game that has the most influence on me in general, right? It's always a question mark. Is it healthy? Is it okay for me to continue? I don't know. I feel like it's not. No matter how you look at it, I just don't feel like I can contribute to the community that's gonna be mostly shit, right? Not only I can make my own card game, but I might be able to make a Generation 3 card game. That's a pretty big deal. Like, I can't let this thing go. And I will try many things in 2026 to see what comes out, basically. But first things first, we need to establish Linux into my computer and dispose of Microsoft Windows. That shit stings, guys. I do like this. My voice does not sound really bad at all. With earplugs, it would probably be an absolute disaster. But the way it stands, everything seems to be working. No one has been able to pierce through my shield yet. Very good. So you can imagine I do have ping headphones. Now, I actually discourage people from buying black products in general, because you'll just never find them. They can just disappear into a corner of your room and you will never find them. Good luck. You know, for me, it's even worse because my room is black. Alright, so if the object is black, it's over, dude. It's just gonna drop to the floor and we'll never see that object ever again. Until I, obviously, turn on the light. I don't want to turn on the fucking light. That's for lazy... That's for not lazy people. Anyways, let's keep going. Most of them don't actually work. Most of them are not rewarding. And while you're spending time not being rewarded, you're also getting fucking... I have done it before. I've tried to break up with Hearthstone a few more times, guys. But this one is probably gonna work. You know? I have the power of emotes. I have the power of fake shaming, basically. Because they don't give a fuck much. There's basically a list of problems Hearthstone has, and it always feels fresh to pick up other games. It always feels fresh to just travel. Whenever I truly have the urge to play card game, I should not go to Hearthstone immediately. That makes no sense. It's actually even questionable if Hearthstone is the Generation 2 card game. I still would dare to ask questions. Marvel Snap exists, okay? And that's all you need to know. It exists. Is the best rival, the best runner-up to Hearthstone. And the moment I decide that's the Generation 2, because I'm smart, it probably is. I don't want to make a mistake, guys. It would be so shameful to miss the point. The only reason why Marvel Snap... And yes, let's talk about card games, guys. That's what you're here for, right? The only reason why Marvel Snap is bad... You're sort of playing the same cards, you're sort of playing the same opponents. Nothing really changes. It's, again, another toxic ladder experience of people just giving you a hard time. You know, I want to win some games. I want to chill. I don't want to be in a position of anxiety. Unless I found myself playing Hearthstone when I'm trying to crack the metagame, trying to figure shit out. Sometimes I do experiment, but I'm trying to get that magical deck that has everything I need. You know, all the fun. And even though that's possible and it's doable and everything's great and fantastic, in the end of the day, we're not getting what we're supposed to get. Maybe it's time to boycott. Maybe it's time to step back. Maybe it's time to imagine the possibilities. The last video that people will ever see is the most beautiful Hearthstone video, right? Because one thing you can do is just, like, imagine what the game would actually look like if it was actually good, right? At least one aspect, one giant aspect that would inspire you to play the game. That would be amazing, right? It would not hurt if there was variety, if people weren't forced out of the meta decks, because you see them all the fucking time. That's insane. And every single card game has that shit. Like, Marvel Snap actually tried to solve this problem. Try to solve the meta. But, womp womp, we are not there yet, guys. Generation 2 card games will not solve metagame. It's not happening. Okay? And the funny thing is, it's more like fatigue. It's just not fun to play Hearthstone in general. It's fatigue. There's a lot of pressure. You cannot lower the difficulty. You know, there's no difficulty setting for that thing. So, there's not enough settings for me to actually get good games, to lean towards good games where I'm actually enjoying myself instead of just getting obliterated, right? And trying to scramble for what counters my opponent. This is a completely different game then, right? What counters my opponent is a very different game from what I enjoy playing. Alright? Those are two different games. If I can do what I'm enjoying, then great. We're gonna have much more fun than trying to like, oh, it's these guys again. I have to figure out how to circumvent all these bullies, basically, without getting my brains damaged. And eventually I crack the metagame, and it works out. It's still gameplay that I can actually beat sometimes, you know, but it's frustrating as hell most of the time. What you normally do in those situations, you pick up like a high IQ deck, and you grind that shit. But you still pick up a meta deck, basically. You're grinding a meta deck, and eventually you have to switch up to not, again, take brain damage, and maybe you run out of options. Let me double check. Because you see everything laid out in front of you. There's control decks, and I don't pick control decks because they're not high IQ at all. They're actually quite fucking disgusting. Death Knight is Rising. Not a good deal. Death Knight is probably high IQ. I just don't like the damn thing. I don't like the damn thing, bro. Druid might be high IQ. There's a thing called Aviana Druid. It shuffles legendaries. The legendaries are cheap. And if you pick the correct ones, bam, slam. That one's the most juiciest. So between Rogue and Druid, I can like bounce around and try and climb all the way up. There's a nice little Hunter deck I found that sometimes works. But that one seems to fall a little bit short. But it's a just nice thing to bounce around between like these kind of like higher IQ decks. So don't worry, guys, like, the game is playable. But there's more than that, right? There's more to relationship than just like, yeah, I can continue doing what we have been doing, right? There's aspect of you growing. That's a big aspect. You always have to check your priorities. We're gonna talk about priorities. That shit is crazy. Continue, my friend.
You cannot actually convey that information to them that you're trying something different. They're just gonna beat you up and spit you out. So I have my uninstall moment, and maybe, just maybe, we just have to leave Hearthstone alone and find enough reason to block it from my life. One thing I try to do is block my friend.
Well, definitely try. I already uninstalled it, and if I install it again, that's a little bit of effort. I don't know if I want to do that right now. It's a big statement. And at the same time, if I'm switching to Linux, we'll have to install Hearthstone all over again anyways. Doesn't matter.
That didn't turn into a breakup yet, you know? Maybe it will. Maybe I'll be tired of something at some point. But my friend survived while Hearthstone couldn't.
Yeah, I had a ruffle with my friend. We got angry at each other, but it seems to kind of die off. All this anger just kind of settle basically into, yeah, we're better off having the relationship than being mad at each other. So my friend survived. We'll see about Hearthstone. Hearthstone, I mean, I've spent way more time than doing anything else. Even browsing TikTok. TikTok is third place. I'm in first place, of course. I spend time with myself, talking. We're doing that right now. You're spending time with me. I'm spending time with me. We're all happy, you know. doing exactly the same thing. Look at me, guys. Wow. Wow, what a guy.
Interesting, isn't it?
Amazing.
But the difference is I can't talk to Hearthstone. I can only try different things that just happen to be in the game, right? I can piece puzzle pieces together. But enough of them about that. Like in general sense, well, welcome to LILAC.
Hearthstone eventually is just a toxic relationship that is good to take a break. But it might break the relationship entirely, right? We don't know. It's definitely a breakup. A break is a breakup. It's a break. Break is a break. Break
Storyline.
is a
It
break.
begins, my friends. Sometimes healing makes you stronger than actually trying to achieve some kind of self-improvement by forcing self-improvement. Maybe you just need healing. Have you thought about it? Because the funny thing is, I would say
Yes, it's important to try to stabilize your life because everything just kind of tends to fall apart, especially if you don't have enough things in control, under control. Again, so far I'm happy. I'm inside my echo chamber. Let's fucking go. I did not hear a single invader noise
yes.
so far.
Yes, I might actually need healing. I might need to calm things down in a lot of departments of what I tend to be doing. You know, that doesn't seem to be working. Anyways, right? I feel like I can win this battle, but after breakup, the battle just begins. The real battle begins. So, let's talk about breakups. How messy that can possibly be. How deep the rabbit hole goes when it happens, when something breaks, because now you realize you won't be able to do that thing anymore. So the first thing you have to do is just replace it, right? Forget about it. Just dump it. Dump everyone. Set it on fire, you know? Let it die. That's the most important thing. Just let it die. But my brain cannot settle, all right? I want more. What else do we have, by the way? Let me listen to the whole song. The biggest argument of this Australia's social media ban, and something Captain Sparkles had to say out loud, is maybe children are going to do, like, more normal things as a result. Maybe you have to burn social media because it's full of shit. It's not worth it anymore. Kind of makes sense. You know, maybe Australia was paying attention if social media is good or not. Social media is toxic or useful. And right now, it outlived its usefulness. I would completely agree that something has to happen before, like, a new establishment has to be taking place. YouTube for children exists, so some people are going to migrate there. I don't know, man. We're not children. We don't feed the children. We don't want children on the fucking internet. It's all for the better. By all means. Most of the changes that happen naturally, they're going to be good changes, okay? Take it for what it is. And it's like, if you have been clingy on something, prepare your life to be the opposite of that, right? Prepare your life to be more travel-y, more bouncy from one thing to the other. And maybe this is the one thing that you needed to do to take independence, to start building your thing. So the story of Hearthstone is a fucking big one, all right? And there's an illusion of like, wow, there's other people there. You know, people actually subscribe. No, it's fucking, I'm just a victim of their eyeballs, you know? Their eyeballs abused me. Their existence abused me. They subscribe because they're assholes. That's why. You know, sometimes in the end, it's just, that's how it feels like. It's actually my fastest growing channel. Like, I would genuinely say, like, social media is so toxic right now, you better not learn how to heal. Because that's the only way you will survive the toxicity of all of this, bro. The underlying sewage system is so much worse, bro. And someone has to fucking take care of that shit. Eventually, YouTubers will get sucked into the fucking depths of this, broken nonsense, right? And they slowly, like, one domino at a time, they're losing a little bit of views every single time. A little bit of competition, a little bit of AI generation, a little bit of cancellation, a little bit of growth, right? From just everywhere, everyone is growing. Just a little, one step at a time, we are actually destroying YouTube channels, and Mr. Beast is kind of like taking part in this. So maybe we're going to see some like genuine collapse of YouTube itself. Like, I don't know, man. Some crazy shit is possible. People built their paper empires, so to speak, and then they have to scramble. You're going to try and stay? You're going to try and reinvest into your business? Or are you just going to move? People like the fucking Indian boy, like, he doesn't have to do shit. He doesn't have to pay rent, you know? He doesn't have to pay $100,000 to make a video. Just sits there, yaps about the nearest fucking nonsense, right? The nearest hack. He's not feeling the actual pressure that everyone else is feeling in that sense. Sniper was actually also in the same camp. Like, if you don't have to produce,
yes, the pressure to perform is rising. The demands are rising. People are naggier and naggier every single time. If I upload a TikTok, it's a normal thing. If I upload a shitty YouTube video, holy shit, the tsunami rises. Oh my god. Will I survive?
You're not going to feel it. What's going on? What I'm trying to get to is that a lot of people are trapped, not knowing what's going to happen in just a few months, right? What if their viewership just tanks into oblivion? What if just they lose everything? They lose all certainty and just grinding the same shit over and over again. Maybe they will have to switch, but there's nowhere to switch, there's nowhere to go. This could be a mass extinction of YouTubers for the first time, but a real one, not just like burnout type of thing where the internet is toxic, so MatPat has to leave.
Yeah, not just Captain Sparkles, MatPat's type of people. We're gonna see mass extinction across YouTube. They won't be able to keep up with the rent price, unfortunately.
This might be a lot more serious And I'm just stumbling upon this idea. I don't know, I just crafted it together. I'm not a prophet, but I can feel things happening, right? I can see the clues to come together. And it would, well, make me satisfied that there was never light in the end of the tunnel. The tunnel was about to fucking collapse anyways. There was nothing to do. No audience to entertain. Everything was just falling apart anyways. I obviously have to put breakup on the table that is not Hearthstone. This is where we should start, right? Of like, I lived life. I have broken up with things. I have made mistakes. But some things just don't work out, right? Something just doesn't.
There's some crazy factors, but look at this thing. Do you recognize anything here? You should recognize this person, this person, this person, this person died, this person. The other ones, they get exponentially tougher. Bro plays horror games, and some of them just spam shorts, right? So these like family looking, I mean, this one just Roblox, all right? So technically these guys are spamming shorts. These are not top creators. What are you talking about? Shorts? YouTube Shorts should be a separate category. I feel like YouTube is turning into a shithole, basically. And well, mind you have it, breakup with YouTube might just be a thing. Keep your eyes peeled because this is tough. Like again, in so many ways, influencers are being pressured. They're losing audience to just bans outright, to just window switches. Even that might actually lose you some viewers. Even just some glitches on YouTube make you panic more, right? Anything can happen. So I feel like breakup with YouTube is going to be a thing, all right?
Click. Technically, that's how you know. You're trying to click something into place, but it's too hard. It takes too much energy, too much effort to click into place. One of the biggest factors is that someone else can do it, you know?
Let me describe this as like trying to connect two balls that are magnetized to repel each other. But the moment they touch, they click into place. They're happy together. You know, that's kind of how relationships can be described, I guess.
That's the most depressing factor. Not someone else going to do it. Because you can't communicate with that person. The same way, if you break up with a girl, someone else is going to have the girl. She's going to go somewhere else, right? Someone else will have to deal with that shit. And maybe she's just going to continue bouncing around as if like she's an untouchable creature. She's so gay, you know? So gay that she's untouchable by any guy. Like, who the fuck knows, right? But if you're frustrated and you feel like there's too much energy, too much tension to try and click something into place, that's the first thing you know. It might fucking fail. All your efforts might fall apart anyways.
Very bad people are the ones that is very difficult to convince to be on your side.
Funny thing is, this guy does not have ears. And unfortunately, ears are for losers. That's right. The real people don't have ears. I mean, fears? No. Well, that's cool, but I really mean ears. The really cool people, really good ones, they don't need no fucking ears. They don't need to hear anyone crying and wishing that they fucking listen to them. No.
Well, honestly, no ears, no fears.
You don't matter. Too much effort to try and convince someone, to try and talk to someone, even if they want it themselves. You gotta really want it, bro. You gotta really show it. Otherwise, I'll just ignore you, right? And the first place to start is at home, where I'm attacked by noise, right? So while step one is check tension, step two is check which thing you would kill first. Who dies first? All right? Usually ears and fears die first. The ultimate fucking social hack. All right? Ears is literally that bad guy that dies first. In every horror movie, in every other circumstance where things die, okay? Bad guy. He gets eliminated from beast games. No more ears. Just because animals are known for having ears, animals are also known for having their part of the fucking world where they live, you know, forest and shit. They have their own space. And they don't fuck around, you know? They're careful with their own space. It's almost like animals love each other because they can have ears without ear infections. But we are not respectful enough. We can't hear each other most of the time. But when we can't hear each other, it's dog shit behavior. It's a bunch of mistakes being made. That's what we hear all the time. Most of the time, noise is just a mistake. All right? Someone is making a mistake, and to me, mistakes fucking are even louder because I know it's a mistake.
You wish you were like an animal. All right? Animals are actually cool. Humans are the ones at war with each other.
It's even louder. Of like, who would fucking do such a thing, right? My jaw drops every time. My jaw drops every fucking time.
Maybe animals are the aliens we have never discovered because we never looked at them as such. You know, maybe they're just smarter, built different. They're just living their life now. It's humans that are trying to evolve into something.
Why are they doing this? Do I have to interfere? Like, all these things I have to fucking worry about. Maybe it's time to kill my ears. She doesn't know how good she has it.
Hi guys. So
You know, she doesn't know. I lost my hearing. That's my dream come true, right there. But then again, most people's dreams is to die
Yay.
because life fucking sucks this badly. All right, that's how much healing you need. You need healing to bring back faith that life is worth living, even that life is fair. That's how crazy it is. So, do you feel welcome to LILAC storyline? Big deal here. This healing thing. It's actually a fucking full-on battlefield. And maybe let's forget about breakups. All right, you broke up. You have better things to do, right? That's a big fucking deal. You break up, but that's fine. That means you will be doing something else now, instead of trying to reconcile. Look at all these free games we just got. What is this mystery game? What is that?
It's garbage.
You're probably right. You're probably right. You're probably just as right as the Australians banning social media. If you feel bad about something, you'll probably just free yourself up, and you're slowly gonna untangle what's actually was happening. Because
So yeah, one step of healing is to take something you feel bad about and analyze it. That's right. Have to sit down and analyze it. If you break up, the story just begins. There's a lot of work to do to understand what happened. You need a lot of time for that shit. If you feel bad about something, take a break. It might turn into a breakup. So I feel like that's the best thing you could do. That's the best strategy. You take breaks. You might break up entirely. It is what it is, right? You might move on. But you have to give yourself some space, at least yourself. If there's two people involved, fine. Two people need space, right?
thing, right? You must unpack the actual reality of what's going on. Because like if I look at Hearthstone experience, I was screaming, I was fucking yelling, I was pissed most of the time. And I can't just control the game whatsoever. And I wish the game changed for me so much.
The game controls me. It tells me what to do, you know? It's kind of frustrating that I cannot do anything. I cannot build anything. There's no real challenge for me as a builder. I'm not challenged in any way. The game mode is just always the same. And there's no adaptation, nothing to it. There's no surprise factor.
Much more, because it would be just so much
Yikes.
easier if the game changed. But even that is not good enough. I want even better revelation, potentially, that's going to come out, right? That would be nice. Because the new light in the end of the tunnel, that's when you break up that this is the best decision you made in your life. That would heal you so much. That would liberate you so much. If you made the right decision. If you made the best decision by doing that. If your life can fundamentally become just better as a result. And you can start making better decisions. Because there's addictions, right? Addiction. You can feel addicting to make progress. That's a problem, too. You think you're making progress, but you're not moving whatsoever. In reality. Like, nothing changed. I was good at complaining, and people were good at, accepting that I was good at complaining. That's it. That's the best we got. There's not a lot of engagement in there. I'm not forcing engagement. I don't know what I'm doing, to be honest, on YouTube. It feels like people are just smarter sometimes. It's manipulation, for self-gain, for self-interest. It's kind of devastating, actually. Wow, they're so good at manipulating, but not actually good at providing anything to the world. It's obviously a lot crazier when a person can provide something and manipulate at the same time. That's a whole next level. Keep it clean and good looking. I can't do that, guys. I'm always on a fucking run to find the next best thing, next best thing to think about. I don't want to settle for some bullshit behavior that most of the internet spammers are indulging in, right? At some point, the fucking weird thing happens, all right? Number 4 happens. You never know. Like, you feel like you're doing the good thing, and it seems to be the good thing, right? Sometimes improvement just turns into addiction, turns into passion. It just kind of burns you in general. You just take general amount of damage for wasting time, for feeling inadequate, for feeling unsuccessful. But something crazier happens at step 4, where the consumer becomes consumed. Consumer gets consumed. A lot of us are consumers, even influencers are technically consumers. But influencers have 2 sources to take from, right? They can drain the game, or they can drain other consumers, right? Consumers below them. They can drain the game above them and drain the consumers below them. It's very difficult to drain anyone below you. You kind of want to feed the other consumers to make them happy. And that's what, YouTube eventually rewards, happiness of consumers below you, all right? It's kind of like a hierarchy. You're trying to make people below you happy, but they are in fact below you. Just because they click the button, they are below you. And they click another button of watch this video, watch that video. You're below me when you do that. You're not making.
But the real question is, are they happy? They kind of sit under your light, under your influence. They gather up under your influence, and the higher you are, the more light you have to offer, right? The bigger the triangle. And so you grow exponentially, absolutely, on any platform.
Making your own videos. What's that about? It's not that difficult, guys. I swear. Have you ever had a thing called bots? No?
For me, the funny thing is I have special strategy where I have always space for that special someone. Whoever is fucking smart, whoever has higher IQ than average, you're a special someone, my friend. You know, if you're willing to interact and communicate, congratulations. Welcome to my spotlight. You're the special guest. All right? So there's always this gaping hole in my spotlight that allows someone to enter and get interviewed. You know, like, we're best friends now. I ask you some interesting questions, blah, blah, blah. And you will realize how much I care about all these things, right?
I swear. Have you ever had a thing called bots? No?
The funny thing is, as you're taking a break from something, it's also a good idea to drop a bomb, right? To get a little bit of spicy drama out there, you know? Get a little bit of anger out there. And I kind of done that when I'm describing a high IQ person. I'm sort of alluding to trying to interview a person from Hearthstone community who's ruining the fucking game, you know, who's a big factor in making a mess.
No, that's not a thing for you? Oh, I'm so sorry, dude. Yeah, and some retard's gonna fucking claim that having thoughts is insane or like mental illness.
Yes, you can tell I don't like low IQ people, though.
You're stepping in the wrong fucking territory at this point. Now he's just shaming human behavior. So when does this happen? Because it's the worst thing of all of them. Because again, tension, annoying, killing, really frustrating. You know, you have to kill part of yourself to liberate another part of yourself. Just to cut off your foot, basically, to be able to walk again. It makes no fucking sense, but if you're chained, it makes sense. And hopefully you grow back your foot. Hopefully you can just, like, you know, dismantle yourself. Take away one piece and just keep moving, right? And you can just kind of suppress your addictions to some extent, but you can't defeat this guy. You can't defeat the thing that you're collapsing, basically. You cannot defeat your own downfall of being consumed by something else, right? And you only get consumed by the game when it's bad, all right? When you don't feel safe anymore. And that's a big deal. Like, you have to look into the future. That's a big revelation. Do you feel safe? Because it doesn't matter how much fun you're going to have in the moment. The question mark is, do you feel safe in the future that you're going to be able to do this? And it's like, well, it's a life service game. You get new cards. That's what it's trying to do, isn't it? It's trying to feed into the illusion that everything is working. But that's not true. For me personally, Hearthstone is a unique experience where I need to break it. I know it's bad. I know something is not working. But one thing that I can make work is just put enough effort and just build the deck that I want. It tends to work. It tends to be just good enough, you know? Most of the cards fall into a line of power level, and they're not too strong, they're not too weak. And essentially you can make it, you know? You win some battles, you win some, you lose some, you get that decent win rate and whatnot, right? But okay, you just keep doing that, keep finding new decks. And I could have actually got bored of that eventually as well, right? I can't just keep trying to do constantly new things, this new thing, that new thing. And I'm almost like happy to be frustrated that it's not working out. Like, in the end of the day, like, other people do the same thing. They also build decks, they also achieve things in the game. But there's another layer to it that is way, way more creepy. 50% of matchups are fucking toxic. One way or the other, they're gonna be toxic. There is a list of toxic traits, basically, that your opponent will possess. To the point where, yeah, maybe just go explore, because it's not good for you. Toxic traits, alright? Wasting your time, wasting your energy, basically. Dragging you, basically, into a long nonsense game, or into a short game where you cannot do anything. You don't have enough tools to defend yourself, even. And you are forced to kind of, like, have them, or you lose too fast. And perhaps the more you play, the less variety you see in the game. What is available, that's the only thing that people cling on to out of desperation. And there's not much there. It's just pain. So you're not playing the game to be creative. Meaning that there's a lot of board experiences that you will never have. But you would like to have, just like, play that card, play this card. Build your own thing. But you will never have it. It's pointless to do that. You're just going to lose a bunch of times. What's the point in that? It's not even a game where you get to see how far you can get with a deck. You just lose a bunch of times if you play a weak one. That's it. There's no such thing as going far. Like, even back in the day, we have just simple high-score games. And high score is strictly better than trying to aim for legend or anything else. I mean, we literally devolved back into Balatro. So yeah, there's a list of flaws, and something in my brain just constantly triggers so I consume myself instead. So I just feed hope. I call it hope bait. Alright? There's always hope that, well, this thing is gonna work, this is thing, but, like, you have to ignore all the other.
Yeah, so this triggers, the number 4 triggers when you become the consumed, not a consumer anymore. It triggers because you're hopeful that things gonna get better, but you're not really happy anymore. When you're not happy, you're being consumed, unfortunately.
Shiny boobies, you know? Wow, so attractive, so shiny. And that's the funny thing, by the way. One of these girls have shiny boobies, but one of them is a normal fucking human being that you want to hang out with. So which one do you choose? Alright? That's the fucking problem. You choose the movie, the hottie? Yeah? But you wouldn't want to hang out with that person. I mean, you decide. At some point, if you need too much spice in your life, you're not spicy. You know, you're a loser. That's what it is. Now, the reality is, because Rosie does not exist in my life, it exists as like a musician, I still need spice, because spice is a lot like more vivid experience. So obviously I will just choose spice. I will choose Lisa. Lisa is useful for something, you know? But when it all comes down, he's the one to be rejected. It's like, well, no, I need a real person, obviously. I need a good experience, a good game. Not whatever the fuck that was. List of problems that will never be solved. So that's not where the game is going. The game is fundamentally not going to change. So the funniest thing you can do is just relive old memories and you'll be fine. If you're fucking desperate, just relive old memories, just watch old videos. Become deal, right? Breakup is not a big deal as long as you find stuff to do. Because your future is simply time spent, right? You're going to be spending time again. So why not just spend time some other way, right? It's not just go a straight line, just take a turn, take a little turn, and that's a breakup. Funny enough, breakup happens to be extremely simple. Wow. Yeah, you see that? It's a simple breakup. You just happen to just take a turn, and I'll be back maybe. You have a chance to go back anyways. But for now, we'll be chilling, right? We're going to be looking around a little bit. You gotta detach, you know, from the thing that bothers you and see how long that lasts. If it lasts 1 month, I mean, if you reconcile with your breakup, you're technically taking a loop, right? That's what you're doing. You're taking a little fucking roller coaster loop. That's how you do a breakup, maybe. All right, that's still a question. What is the best way to do it? But maybe this one I like. All right, I like that one. Now, there's additional problems where things get even more toxic because the future looks so bleak. There is no real competition, so there's nowhere to go. You would be cornered to try and think like, oh, I'm just going to escape now, away from some metagame. But there's another thing about breakups that's possible, right? You can make a fresh start. You can escape into a whole different direction. All right? So how does that work? We actually ended Max Stats episodes with talking about new starts. Well, that's what it is. You know, we ended something and we started something new. But fundamentally, nothing really changes. I mean, the idea changes that self-improvement now is just healing. It's just a very simple word that will unpack itself and it's going to be very interesting to talk about many aspects of healing. You can even like look back and be nostalgic of like, maybe everything about your life is just a broken mess and you can heal that. You can somehow reverse all the damages and find yourself in such a blissful place. Not only that, again, I can take tons and tons of independence and maybe permanent independence of creating something new, going a whole new direction because I'm so skilled. Might as well find something else entirely. Not just find other game to chew on. But yeah, when you start a new thing entirely, there's one thing you can do. Take it slowly, right? You must enjoy this new experience. You must take it slowly. You must let that thing die, basically. Become the new nostalgia for you. And just when you know you found something valuable, take it slowly. And it could still be the new thing of you achieving independence or finding a new game. Maybe you should take it slowly. Maybe you should not rush. Because one of the things that makes Hearthstone not appealing is the fact that people have figured out the game. They have figured it out. All right, they're going to be hunting you down.
There is nothing but rush at this point. Now I'm so experienced in the game. I have to chase like high level achievements, but at some point there's like a scale, right? And the achievements get slightly higher and further away every single time you achieve them. But you start from 0 every single time. Everything resets all the time. So what do? After you achieve most of the things, you're actually being nagged most of the time, right? It feels like you're wasting time most of the time. And even in the end, there might not be any more achievements anymore. It might feel like there's no more rewards you can actually collect. That it's over, right? That you've done the best you can. And sticking around just doesn't cut it anymore.
With the best decks that are available. And that's the end of that, my friends. In fact, this is not very balanced at all if there's one victim, basically, amongst the rest. Yeah, I've spent so much time. It's just, you should feel the pain that it caused. You know, if like, man, you just need to take a break. And God knows how long it's going to last. Also knowing that I am about to switch from Windows to Linux, that's a big deal. All right? I hope it's not a tough transition and everything's just going to fucking magically work. I don't know. It does feel like the world kind of resonates the same way. This kind of exponential, unsustainable effect going on. People are trying to do this exponential thing, but their heads will explode if they go all the way.
This is the same reward type of matrix, but like in a gravity display, right? So this looks like a ramp, and you can like shoot off the ramp. But if you try and chase the greatest rewards, the most steep rewards, you're just wasting time. This is some scary shit. Like, a lot of people are actually grinding Minecraft to insanity. There's still up there a lot of rewards, but Minecraft is now getting so steep, so difficult to actually master. The videos take like 100 Minecraft days to complete, just one video. You get views, but you have to edit your video, my friends. It's tough. That's what people pay attention to, this like very top, and I don't recommend straining yourself this much. Just wait for the next generation of games, right? And take it slow. Establish yourself. Do what you like. Be very careful, guys. Alright? And right now, if you can't take these achievements, it's better to take a break than actually still continue trying. I've done my achievements. I've complained about Hearthstone really badly. And, it's time to move on. If anyone wants to know how bad the game is, I know. I can see everything.
You know, at some point it's just literally impossible. You have all this inflation going on, you have apocalypse going on, all the signals for you to just jump off and not continue this way. Because if you continue all the way, you fail, no jump happens. If you make a leap of faith, you potentially get the rest of the stuff going, and potentially people build another ramp. And maybe you just discovered the way life works. If you jump off here,
you discovered up and down ramp edition.
You die. If you jump a little bit earlier, just a little bit earlier, you get a big boost into the sky. And people start noticing you. Build a ramp for you to land on, give you some resources, you know, and then you continue doing shit. You know, it is interesting, and not everything is a human right. Money is not a human right because it enslaves other people. It's a privilege. It's a great privilege, my friends. Like, you can find a Max Stats episodes where I was like, wow, look how much I improved myself. That's crazy. And hopefully the same thing happens here, right? Look how much I healed myself. That would be so interesting. So, welcome to 2025, +1. And, let's see what happens. Let's see what healing does, for once. So, don't go all the way, don't tank yourself into capitalism. Because if they drag you in, you're gonna lose. It makes no fucking sense. Everyone still has a chance to create a loot.
One big deal is that I have a channel, alright? I can talk for days and days, right? I have proven that, and I'm proud of that's the greatest achievement, you know, and I don't have to stop there. We're still going. I'm gonna remanufacture old videos now, just in case. Never gonna run out of things to talk about. And I haven't even talked to a human being yet. I can't wait. Is that gonna happen? Is it happening, guys? Is it happening?
You know, just create a loop. Just in order to break up with something, with your momentum, right? You just spawn a loop out of nowhere, and you get a second chance to ramp out of here. But you can do the same thing. You can go the same direction if you don't cut it short. All right, if you don't pick a direction correctly. If you sleep in the most important moment of your life, you have to kiss the bride and you just fall asleep. Like, boring. Are you fucking kidding me, dude? Oh yeah, let's not forget that some of the motherfucking players are going to refuse to play the game. It's garbage, man. I want people to do well, or do nothing at all. And seeing all this bullshit.
A list of bullshit that people do to make the game toxic.
That my opponents might be able to pull on me. Same decks, same toxicity, same uselessness, basically, same brainlessness. Don't know how to play the fucking game. And sometimes don't play the game at all. I can't believe that. The funny thing is, reputation will fix everything. Why don't we have reputation? How are we going to moderate people if they don't accumulate reputation? Same goes with players. If they spam the same deck over and over again, they should not receive that much reputation. Everything is reputation-based. There's certain incentives and certain things you should stay away from, right? Certain toxic behaviors. That's what builds reputation. If you're spamming in the chat some bullshit, you're going to attack your reputation. And the rules are clear, you know, and the rules keep stacking. If you do stupid shit, you lose reputation. If you do good things, you gain reputation. You to try to establish this thing with YouTube heroes? Laughable attempt, wasn't it? And they still try to do something, but it never amounts to anything. I feel like reputation still is just a concept in my head. It's so scary every single time thinking about it. So many things would just fix everything, but it's all in my head. The only best thing I can do is liberate myself, escape, find a way out, because I wouldn't be able to survive another one of these Hearthstone experiences. And Hearthstone just happens to be the best game. There's no competition, even though it's not that fucking hard to make one. But no one knows how to do it. Like, I have all the knowledge and no support.
Yes, there is no real competition. I'll still pray that there is. I'll still pray that there's magically Generation 2 card game. You know, Gwent has died, apparently. Like, I don't know what's going on, guys. Card games are not supposed to die.
Besides myself, right? So why should
But because they added live service, apparently they can die now. Like, really, really
I
badly.
continue playing the game when I know better? I know what to do, right? For now, however, I'll still just need healing. I'll still just need to slow down and not worry about things too much. I actually feel extremely sick, by the way. Extremely sick. I had went to toilet like 3 times today. Feel sick, bloated, kind of disgusting, basically. I'm not sick enough to actually feel any different. Okay, maybe that's an exaggeration. Because I do feel different, but it's not like really destroyed. Usually when you're truly sick, your head hurts, you don't want to get out of bed, you're constantly just tired. I'm just like 20% sick and it bothers me greatly. Don't worry, guys. It's because it's cold, it's winter, it's cold, and it hurts every single time. Alright, it's the most uncomfortable thing. When it's too cold, too hot, it's shit you have to deal with. It's another thing you can possibly out-heal. How many things you can out-heal? Because you just drink hot coffee. I don't drink coffee, guys, but you drink a hot drink and all of a sudden, bam, slam, you're fine. You're sweating in winter. Let's quickly go back to the ears section, because I'll recreate the same thing. Safety from 10 p.m. Alright, 10 p.m. We have a safety zone until... It's a long-ass safety zone, bro. Let's just say 7. Then it's just mild annoyance until 15. We have to turn this into 22 to not loop anything too fast. And then the danger zone, where ear should be dead. Alright, it shouldn't fucking live, my ear thing. And that's a full loop of 22. And you better fucking hide your ears, alright? That's how it looks like. There's dead zone where my ears can completely be fine and not under attack. There's a little bit of annoyance where I might need to hide it under for like 1 hour, and there's some like major problems, alright, where it's worth just hiding my ears under a fucking, or in a safe box, basically. Just put those ears somewhere in a safe space. Don't hang out with your ears, alright? Not good right now. And obviously, if anyone bothers me in this particular time, they're asking for trouble, because I'm not willing to be bothered, okay? Bother me on motherfucking midnight, alright? Knock on my door on midnight. Then I'll open and I'll talk to you like a normal human being. Easy for me.
That's how much traumatized I am. You're not gonna fucking find me, basically. Alright? In real life. You're not gonna talk to me. There's a period where I'm in a limbo. I might be on or off. But, very likely I don't give a fuck about you. And your door knocks and anything.
It's important to have a battle plan, guys. Of when do you kill things. Do you kill things as tactically as possible. As efficiently as possible. And really, really kill these damn things. Buy the best fucking earplugs you can get, and all of a sudden this is a moment where I can't make any videos, alright? And that's supposed to be good, because I don't always have to make videos. Videos are not actually progressive to my life anymore, right? I'm godlike. So I do recognize that just spamming a bunch of videos that people don't want to watch, yeah, doesn't sound progressive to me, actually. Subscribe, though. I'll feel it, you know? There's one button that I will feel. Like, subscribers are technically accumulation of reputation, right? With proper multipliers, you can still, like, normalize how much influence you actually have. Because influence times usefulness, right? That's what matters. You have to be influential, but also useful in the end. And that's the multiplier, guys. Alright? If Mr. Beast has billions of subscribers, but he's useless, that would be pretty bad. I feel like we would have a fair fight anyways in this one. It would be a very interesting debate session with anyone of, like, what are your multipliers? What are your values, basically? Exciting stuff. So if you feel like I'm, like, not hitting the topic, it's because you don't have to. Breakup is a long-lasting thing. It's going to change your life tremendously, right? And you have to, well, flip the drama. Remember that one? We just did that. You have to flip the drama and make sure that your breakup actually is the greatest success ever. It's just like, you picked up the signal that it's time. It's time. Something ain't right. Something's not working out. Yeah. It's time to change things up. Maybe even people figuring out what the meta is just wrong. Makes no fucking sense. Maybe just like the moon, there should be a gaping hole in everyone's collections. They shouldn't be able to play every card all the time. Something should rotate to block out everyone from doing the same thing. You know? Some kind of challenge should be in place. But even more than that, I'm just sad. High score matters more. You know? High score over PvP. I feel like that's just overarching principle. And how do I imagine PvP? I imagine PvP is when you stack like 10 decks. You stack a fucking army.
Sorry about this window accident.
Versus another army of 10 decks. Right? 10 versus 10. The games are incredibly neat, incredibly crazy, and just that experience is...
Yeah, you guarantee that the decks are gonna be 10 different decks. The player might be the same one, but the player has to have, like, certain amount of reputation to face against you. And, that's a nice format. Now, 10 is not casual, alright? 10 is not casual gameplay, unfortunately. How can you queue in into a person that you're gonna play 10 games with? That's crazy. But is it? Now, what made Yu-Gi-Oh good? Yu-Gi-Oh was single player, and I would say just make single player games already. PvP should be like a special request from a reputable source. Alright? Someone has been properly playing the game. No cheesy moves, basically. You can trust that guy, and they're not playing metagame copy pasta as well. So, they collect reputation, and then you smash into these guys just to see what happens. Maybe you're just bored, you want to connect with the community. PvP is not supposed to be shoved down people's throats. I'm sorry, it just makes no sense to me.
You will cherish it forever. You will replay it, try to learn something from it. I don't know. Or just like it's just one big event. It's almost like, how does that even exist? How does Hearthstone even exist for so long? What is that? If I cannot appreciate it in the end, it's like if people are going nowhere, what is this? I just literally have to go into a different direction to save everyone, because no one is going to be willing to do that, right? And everyone will think, nah, it's fine. We'll just drag ourselves basically like slaves, you know? Some people are just willing to be slaves. Some people are willing to be consumed by the things that they like for the sake of keep going forward, right? Even if they get consumed, they still feel like they're going forward. They're still like moving forward in time, but it's not serving them anymore. But they're still going forward in time. But that's just how life is, you know? Consumed and be consumed. Unfortunately, that's not how life is at all. That's the ultimate mistake. So if you learn these 4 steps, cool. You'll be more immune to the downsides of keeping relationships that should break up. They should end in a breakup, but you're still keeping them alive with your own soul. You're selling your soul for that shit. That's no good, my friends. My videos are only bad because people have no ability to judge them, right? They have no idea what the fuck they're seeing. It's not like ultimate fucking crazy graphics. Look at this building and that building. And I'm talking about politics and capitalism, blah, 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 with crazy graphics, crazy editing. Then you know that it's good video, but you still can't keep up. You're still not smart enough to understand everything. You feel like the person actually knows many things. They're doing the research. They're giving you the facts.
People have learned to be very visual, which is why I don't get subscribers. They want the visual stuff, but it gets deeper than that. Like, there's a lot of problems to solve before I become popular. Whoopsie noodles. So I'm just lurking around YouTube. I'm trying to piece things together. For me, it's a puzzle. For other people, it's copy and paste the metagame behavior, basically. And I'm just like, why am I so different from everything else? That's one of the questions I will have to contemplate during the breakup. Why am I so different, guys? What's the problem? I do feel like a European stuck in America, alright? There's no escape. I'm just forever stuck in America, surrounded by Americans, and it's always giving me a fucking headache.
But are you actually improving yourself? That's what most of the audience are just bouncing around on YouTube, and that's what's popular on YouTube. It's going nowhere, guys. A lot of people actually feel the same way. They're just going nowhere. Nothing is happening. This is the worst and the scariest thing to avoid. And
but I'm getting money!
Alright? Healing sometimes is about breaking things that have rotten to the core. So now you can reassemble pieces that still functional, right? Material that's still functional. Reassemble things. Then you know it's going to work longer when you allow it to break. Right? Where is it going to be? Where's the stress points? Let it break, because when it breaks in mid-action and mid-PvP session, then we have a problem. So yeah, PvP should be a session. You fight your own friend, basically. You have prepared for the battle. You're taking 10 best decks that you have.
Yeah, you first have to make friends and stuff. That's way better.
Send it into PvP, burn it. And maybe you were going to be so good, because like PvP can be just a whole tournament, right? A whole tournament. You take your best decks, you take your best experiences, you don't look at other people's decks, because if you have the same deck, they get eliminated. They get eliminated, or nerfed, basically, mid-battle. Because you're using someone else's deck. We see it on the system. Copying and pasting shit. What's wrong with you, buddy? A lot of people understand that originality matters the most. Because originality is what makes things less boring in the first place. Right? That's what makes things feel good and bad. You see the same thing over and over again. Something in your brain will start to get tickled at, yeah, it's not a good idea. You're not experiencing anything cool. Unfortunately, originality and getting bored is the greatest factor that will break you up from something. Meaning it's a factor that's supposed to trickle down into the game itself and remind people that you're losing originality. Your deck is too closely related to something we see on the system very often, you know? You can use the meta deck, but the meta decks are just fundamentally nerfed. Because they occur very often. Those cards are being played all the time. People see them as strong cards. They have mastered them collectively. But the system will not allow collective effort to ruin the magic of you finding your strategy. Or learning from other people what good strategies to build, right? Not only that, there's another aspect on top of everything, and you will just give up on trying to be fed by the metagame and just communicate. Because that's what the game is supposed to actively try and do. Not only like shadow your collection, randomize your collection, because that's what trading cards are supposed to do. It's supposed to have random cards. That's a big deal. Of what you open, that's what you get. You should have limited collection in the first place, and be able to trade with other people. So lots of the things just Hearthstone doesn't have. Hearthstone fundamentally doesn't have a possibility to be any better than it is. It's not trying any new things. It's not trying to be different. It's not trying to branch itself. So there's a just portion of the world of card games that's completely missing. This Plus is a completely different game mode, a twist on the rules, and potentially get the rules before you are ready to fight, and the rules are completely scrambled, and you have to just okay, shit, on the spot build the decks. That'll be fucking crazy, right? On the spot you have to build the robots and smash into your opponent. The high score is simply just to test your skills against PC, against just simulate this environment of PvP, but with yourself, right? But here you get to figure out who's the better deck builder overall, in a test of 10 versus 10, and maybe it happens to matter. That's just the idea that it's so good to have better ideas, then it's gonna liberate you away from all this toxic shit that you have been endured, because the toxic shit is not original anymore. It feeds on itself. It's trying to just reinvent itself, but it goes back to just toxic shit because it runs out of ideas. It's too anxious to try and add new things to the game, but it's always feeling the same way in the end, or uninspired. It's the worst thing of all time. But the game itself just kind of kills itself, and that's what happened to Hearthstone. All right, Hearthstone killed itself. That's the mystery solved, guys. It's all behind rotation. That's what it is. So you rotate the big chunk of cards away, even the fun ones. That's right, even the not problematic ones. Everything gets cleaned up for no good reason, just because we want to freshen things up. Why not rotate cards that have been played already too many times, right? If a card has been played 1,000+ times, rotate that shit. Rotate things because of some kind of reason to make it make sense, But instead, no. Make it a special event in the first place. If it has a reason, wow, this card is going to get rotated, and it was played this many times in total, We can burn cards that have been overplayed, overstayed. They're welcome. It makes sense because they already made strategies that already existed. So many ways to fix Hearthstone, basically. I sit here completely exhausted by the possibilities. Fuck that shit anymore. There's a world of possibilities. And I even made the most beautiful Hearthstone video. It's going to be released on 15th, so soon enough. But basically the idea is that Hearthstone is so broken, every single class identity also just faded away. Classes could have had identities and could have done cool shit, but they're not doing that anymore. They're doing boring shit instead. In the end of the day, unless Hearthstone comes up with something truly innovative again, I feel like they run out of ideas. Maybe it's time to settle. They're not going to impress me. Maybe it's time to sit down and say to your crush or whatever you broke up with, fool me, I'll just sit down here and fool me, all right? If you think you can fool me, if you can attract me in wow, that has been added to the game. The game changed this much. If you can fool me with your originality to play the game, to download it again, congratulations. Well done, Because in the end of the day, you're going to be moving on. And you just need these original experiences because you want all of them. You want to have all of them, just in case. Because the funny thing is, when you enter fantasy worlds, it's best to have every single unique tool in your disposal. If there happens to be...
Yeah, to me, the biggest frustration is difficulty setting. If you are in a PvP environment, you are forced to do the best thing at all times. Wow, what a performance. It's insane. If you can't change difficulty and can't have multiple save files, basically, what's the point? You lost such important features that games used to fucking have, right? Should I have multiple accounts? No, it's PvP. Everyone's doing the best they can everywhere, Just because you interact with weaker players doesn't mean anything. Also, just toxicity is gonna happen. I'm sorry. It's weird. It's just weird. When you are PvE, player versus just encounter, player versus enemy,
in the game,
you have so much more control of what you want from the game. And PvP can just be a little bit of spice on top. Right? To see how your decks actually perform. But to have it all the time is fucking exhausting as hell. Fucking infuriating, rage baity, and only a few decks work. The funny thing, you have to say to yourself all the time, only a few decks... Only a few decks work. Only your side of the board works. Whatever you are in control of. And whatever you have to let go of to be in control. That's what works. But it feels like there's gotta be something better by now. Like, come on, guys. What the fuck are we doing? And that's the breakup. It's simple. It's just a break. Nothing too serious, is it? You gonna panic?
Learned about all the keywords, all the possible keywords, and there just could be so many more keywords that Hearthstone is missing. Is crazy to me.
I have learned so much from Hearthstone.
Types, certain auras, basically. Secrets. Like, you learn the basics, and then you can run it in your brain of, like, what do you want the game to actually look like? It feeds your fantasy world. That's a big deal. You can envision how the world, the game is supposed to actually be, and not what you're given, basically. This is the best way to break up, to see a vision that's greater than the game you're actually experiencing. That's so much more important, isn't it? Alright. As it stands, that's it. And my breakup now is solidified, right? I'm gonna be moving on. Hopefully it works out. So where's that free game, anyways? Fucking Hogwarts Legacy? What is this shit? I don't want nothing complicated. The reason why I choose to play 2D, card game, which is 2D, is just a puzzle. Because there's no fucking commitment to downloading big chunks of garbage and exploring areas and none of that shit. And stories and cutscenes, all this shit is commitment to me. I love card games because I don't have to worry about any of that shit. If there's a cutscene, if there's a cinematic, it's not even in the game. You have to click YouTube video to see it. Whatever, dude. They just don't understand. Hearthstone is still better than most games, to me personally. But maybe it just happens to be the best. Maybe people just haven't figured that out. Maybe we're all like very separate from each other. We've broken up too much, alright? And there's hopefully a lot of topics about healing. I can't wait to see just what happens. See you guys next time.
When I play games, I don't want to watch a movie. Alright, let's not mix these things together. But yeah, it's important to know what you want. What will fix you in the long run. Right? I want to stay away from all this toxic shit. Thank you very much. Here are the decks that you can try. Wow. Let's not forget another aspect. You still have to have dust. Still resources to build the decks that you need to build. You're being basically herded like a sheep. And that's so sad. You don't get to just explore at your own pace. No, you copy and paste the best thing. There is no pace. You know, there is no fucking scale. And it's everywhere. The meta is everywhere. Meta takes over and destroys the games. The consumers consume the game and turn into predators to consume you as well. Because you stand in their way. That's what PvP eventually turns into. It's just meta. Vomit meta. You become predated upon. You become a victim of this thing. Right? That the games need to survive, apparently. They must be predators. Card games are dying? What are you guys doing? That's not how it works. When you make a game, that's it. That's the fucking game. Just because you made it live service, now it can die? You're doing something wrong, I'll tell you that much. See you guys next time.